Welcome back to Bill's Bets and Beers. I'm your host Chad, and I got a special guest here, Simba. What do you guys say? Okay, I can stay quiet for now. Um, but yeah, I got a big game coming up. It's Bills versus Tampa tomorrow, and honestly, it's just gonna be. I don't know. I'm not sure how to really feel about this. Bills not played great the last game against the Pats, and it's because their defense let up a lot of passing yards against Mac Jones, and then on top of it, the offense came out slow like the past three games. We had a lot of bad penalties and drive extending penalties, drive ending ones for us. Hopefully that changes, and looking for a nice clean slate coming into this game. Hopefully. Um, but yeah, let's get into it. It's gonna be Bills Bucks Thursday night football game. Huge matchup coming up. Must win for the Bills. If we don't win this, we're definitely going to be in trouble for getting this division. The Eagles spared us by beating the Dolphins last week. But yeah, let's get into this injury report. Let's see. Got the ticker at the bottom for us. Dawson Knox is out. He's going to be out for next, I don't know how many weeks they had said, but it's good at least a month or so because he's getting wrist surgery. And unfortunately, that's very bad for the Bills. Okay, please. That's a good way. Okay, that's better. Okay. Anyways, um, next we have Ed Oliver. He is looking like he's going to play. He's questionable, but I think he's going to be on the field. Um, Jordan Phillips did have some issues, but he ended up being he's not even questionable. He should be playing, no problem. And Bale Inspector, our linebacker depth is kind of thinning a little bit with him being out with a hamstring injury. And last but not least, Quentin Morris. Same thing with our tight end. Our tight end group's getting real thin out there, so he's not going to be on the field. So it's going to be very interesting how they manage to put 12 personnel out there. I'm hoping Reggie Gilliam's going to be out there, being a pass catcher, blocker. He can do both. We've seen it, but he's obviously more of a blocker. But yeah, that's for the Bills side. Now on to Tampa. Very, I think there's more important people hurt on this roster for them, at least at this time. You got Baker. He didn't participate Monday, but he's been limited the past 2 days. He's Well, actually had full practice yet today. I think he's going to play. Um, but who knows how well he's going to play? That's going to be the interesting part. Then you have Chris Godwin, the wide receiver. This is big for them because our DBs did not play great last game, and that was against Kendrick Bourne and Hunter Henry, which barely got any touches. So you're coming into this game, and you're going to be going up against uh, Chris Godwin, Michael. I can't even think of his name right now. Mike Evans, and even Kate Oatman's been pretty good on that team so far. Been a little bit of a target for him lately, especially last game. So it's just very interesting how this game's going to turn out. If Godwin plays, which he's questionable, and I think he's going to, it's going to make it a little bit harder on our DBs to win this game for us. Um, then defensive tackle Vita Vea, he is still questionable for this game. Um, if he's out, this will be huge for the Bills O line, but if he's playing, they just gotta step up. Brown can't be making any more holding penalties. Um, just play a nice, clean game with no penalties from the O line. That'd be perfect for us. Then you got their guard, Matt Freer. I mean Feeler. He's out for this game, so they're gonna have some lack of depth at their O line. Good for our defensive line. Hopefully, with Oliver playing, we should be able to get some pressures. And then their safety, Kayvon Merriweather, he is out for this game as well. So they got some key components missing, but it's just a lot of just like questionables for them at this point. Like obviously Baker, Godwin, and Vita Bay. Those are the big hitters for them. That if they're not in there, they're gonna definitely miss in this game. But let's jump into this players of the game. This is very interesting this week. I usually don't like to put the obvious ones on there, but as you can see, I got Josh Allen's name on it. And the reason I got him on there, honestly, it's very easy for me to say. It's just he hasn't been the same the past couple weeks. He's been playing better. He's not playing bad ball. But like last week, he was like darting bullet like shot like passes in there when he didn't need to, and making wide receivers not be able to get the ball on time, or it just not be a clean catch where it would just for some reason it was going either too high, a little bit low, coming in way too fast when it didn't have to for that route. At least it seemed like it on the TV from that aspect. Obviously, I wasn't in the game, but the Bills fans who did watch the game, I feel like they feel very similar to how I'm saying this. It's just I put into my last week's thing saying things to watch was to see how Josh Allen's going to play with that shoulder injury. And you're looking at it, it's like, wow, what a like. And he was overthrowing. He overthrew a deep ball, which he hasn't had too many solid downfield ones like that, but just overthrew digs. And that that was a touchdown right there. If it wasn't overthrown, and he tends to overthrow when he has to put when his like last year with his elbow, he was overthrowing because it was hard for him to tell how much effort to put into those deep throws. He's really good. He has been pretty good at being accurate with those after that injury, but now it's still touchy feely with the shoulder now. So it's very that'd be something to give you something to watch again for this game. Um, and just overthrowing some of these shorter wide receivers, making the ball a little bit too high. Where I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be a very interesting game this week, and I think Josh Allen's gonna have to show up, and I think he can, and he will. Um, Next up for the Bills, obviously Ed Oliver. I think he was greatly missed last week. Poona Ford did not step up like we wanted him to. I just think Ed Oliver is going to be a very key piece into this defense again. Hopefully, getting our pass rush and our percentage of getting home back up to what it was the first couple weeks with him in there. Obviously, I want to see more from Von Miller as well. I think they're still kind of working him in slowly with a snap count because they don't want to rush him in too much and have him get hurt. But we really need to see him. So this is, like I said, this is a must win game for the Bills if they want to keep in contention, at least for this division with the AFC East. Um, then on the other side for the Buccaneers, I got Rashad White just because I think Rashad White's going to have to really show out for them. Not show up fully, but he hasn't been getting as much receiving, like as much rushing yards as you would think, being the running back, more receiving. Um, but I think with how our run defense hasn't been the greatest, but not the worst, it's gonna be very interesting how his game goes. If he has a great game, we're gonna have to put another safety up into that box a little bit if we're losing on the defense on the running front, and that's going to severely hurt our DBs in the backfield, having to deal with both Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and even Kate Oten. I mean, the tight end. So if we have to step up in the box a little bit more, it's going to make it harder for them. It's already hard as it is because they're low on their starting QBs from the beginning. So I don't want that to happen. So if he has a good game, it's going to be hard for us, I think. And then Devin White, the linebacker on their team, he's going to have to step up and help cover Kincaid and just do the best they can against him. Because we're going to be trying to hit that middle. They're going to think we're going to go out the digs, and we're going to hopefully just keep hitting that middle, the short to intermediate, and then throw deep ball when we need to. Not be too aggressive, but aggressive enough. And obviously, try a little bit of changing up of the play calls because I feel like people are starting to get to know what we're going to do. And it just seems like it's very readable, at least for the past couple weeks, of how the defense has played us. Considering the defenses aren't the greatest coming in and they just hold us very well for some reason. But yeah, that's it for my players of the game. Let me know. Leave a comment if you think I'm wrong. Give me some feedback. Give me your players of the game. And I'll definitely look at it when I do a reaction video to the post game. Um, Now I got some storylines coming in. Some big, just interesting ones like can Dorsey like adapt this offensive scheme has been using a lot of 12 personnel and have it like prosper and be very like have it look like the first couple weeks without having Dawson Knox on for at least 3-4 weeks now at the minimum. Like it's probably gonna be more towards 8. So it's like if with him not there, are we gonna be able to bring Reggie Gilliam in? Is he gonna be able to be in that role? Obviously, Quentin Morris would be in that role if he wasn't out for this game, but he's not. He's not in. So Reggie Gilliam has to cover for this game. I think he can be a very good pass catcher, and he's very good at blocking. I think he should be able to play that role. Maybe they haven't put him in the packages as much, but I'm guessing he got a lot of uh, at least practice time and at least seen in those schemes so he can know kind of what to do this past week of practice, I would think. Because we're going to need that because that 12 personnel was helping us tremendously with our run game, with everything. But yeah, next thing, will like having Oliver back in there for us on that D line bring back that pass rush we had? That's my big question. I really hope it does. I think it can, but we need to get back to getting the sacks on and making sure the quarterbacks don't feel comfortable because it seems like we've been putting the pressure in there, but we haven't been finishing the past couple games as much as we did in the beginning. And it's giving them that time to pass the ball, giving them that time to escape. I mean, Mac Jones escaping a couple times last week was disgusting to watch. He's not that fast, and we just weren't. We were over pursuing and taking a bad line towards him, and it wasn't on his athletic abilities. It was on a mistake from the defense. That rolling into, let's go into some special team stuff. Bass. Tyler Bass has missed 3 field goals in the last couple games. Obviously, the win in New England can be crazy, but there's tons of win in the Bill Stadium, so he should be generally used to it. Obviously, different stadiums, different wins, but he had time during practice and warm-ups to kick some field goals, and he should have known from each direction what was going to kind of happen. That one knuckled out, which I don't know. I can't tell what happened to that, but there, it's going to be very. I want to see him bounce back. I know he can. He's been great up to this point. He just has to have a big confidence booster, 40-something plus field goal that get him back on track. I think he just needs something. He is a very confident guy. He always seems like it, anyways. And I think that'll just help him even more. If he gets rockets a 45-yarder right down the center, no thoughts of it ever not making it. So that'll be good to see. Then lastly, is this Bills like struggles of slowly coming out of the gates, barely scoring a touchdown by the third quarter, gonna stop? Because if it doesn't, we're in for a long road of pain that the Bills fans have been used to, but it's gonna be different because we know we can do better, and we have the talent to do better, and we have done better the past couple of years. We're just, even with injuries, there's no explanation for what's going on the past couple of games. And if we continue this stretch, we're not gonna be able to take this division again, and that's gonna be brutal. I think we need to take this division if we want to go far into the post. Let alone if sadly almost not to make the post. I mean, if we don't end up with like 5 to 6 losses at the minimum, like that's the sorry 6 losses at maximum. So 11 games minimum won. We have to have 11 or 12 games won if we really want to fight into this seed because the AFC is packed. A lot of good teams, and we have to be around that. 10-7 is not going to really stretch to get it, I don't think. Because I think there's going to be other better records against AFC teams because we've already lost twice. Once and inside our own division too. So definitely a lot to think about there and unpack, but that's just something to looking towards the future and hoping things just go well. And I think they can. I still think we have a chance to go far into the post, if everything starts coming back together and we rebuild and get better and better and better from here on out. We have a good bye week situation. We have everything kind of stretched out for these big games coming up, and we just have to show up for those big games. Anyways, enough getting sidetracked. Um, let's get into my same game parlay breakdowns. So first off, I have this. We'll do that one first. I'll do this one. I got the 7-leg parlay put in there. I put a 50% parlay booster on it. Honestly, I think this one's has a really good chance of hitting. I missed my last 7-leg last week by one issue. The Bills lost. And I even brought the spread down to 5, and it didn't even matter. Um, anyways, I got James Cook for over 100 plus yards, rushing receiving mix. I think he's going to go probably about around 125, but I'm going to be safe with 100. He's been getting around 50 to 80 yards rushing with about 30 to 40 receiving. Well, 20 to 40. But I think he's going to have a good game receiving, getting some dump offs, running them up, and doing some nice screens because we saw a couple of those last week. And also, he's going to be able to run the ball, I think. He's going to be able to do it against this defense enough to do well. Then I got Rashad White over 72.5 rushing and receiving yards. I said before, he hasn't been getting as much rushing yards, but I think we're going to be focusing a lot on the pass in the backfield. He's going to have a chance to get some. He's not going to blow up and get over 50, but I do see him getting receiving yards as well out of the backfield. And that's where he's going to get probably 20 or 15 to 20 receiving yards as well. So I'm not really that's not like groundbreaking. It's not going to make him win the game. I just think realistically that's kind of where it's going that route. Then I got Mike Evans, 70 plus alternative receiving yards. I think it just makes sense to me. Last week they were pretty abysmal with Kendrick Bourne, and this is Mike Evans. Yes, he hasn't been as monstrous as he was in his early years, but he's still a damn good receiver. And if we had the same play that we played last week, he's going to get well over that. But I think we're going to hold him under probably 80 or so yards. 70 isn't a big yardage on a main wide receiver because it's either going to be him or Chris Godwin. And I think Mike Evans is just going to get the bulk of the passing of the receiving yards for that team. Then I got Stephon Diggs for over 6.5 receiving receptions. He's been getting around 6 to 8 to 10 to 12, 6, 8, 10, 12 lately. So he's going to be getting more towards 7 to 9 this game, I think. He's going to get the ball. We're going to try to do some screens with him as well. He just always gets that many. He's going to at least get 6.5 every game, at least 7 every game. Then I've been doing this. It's been hitting every week. Over 3.5 field goals made during the game. It's going to happen again. I think we're going to get 1 or so, and the other team's going to get 2 or so. So I've been doing well with it lately, so I add them to my parlays now. And then I have the other team over 1.5 field goals. I think they're going to get 2 to 3. So I think our defense is going to hold them to not be keep them out of the end zone, but they're still going to get yards. They're just not going to get that many points. But yeah, that's it for that one, and that ends up turning $2 into $572. That's a big parlay where I want to kind of add some more, but I was like, no, it is big, so I'm not getting too risque with my money. It's only $2. I'm not really risking anything. Last one here. This is really far fetched just because of the Reggie Gilliam touchdown, but I think with the lack of tight ends that we have, I mean, you saw the week before where we got Quentin Morris in the end zone, and I almost wanted to put him on that parlay too because I was like, well, if Dawson doesn't play or one of the tight ends doesn't play, he's gonna be on the field. and no one's going to be looking his way. He's good enough to catch and get a touchdown. I feel the same thing when I see Gilliam. Gilliam is a damn good runner. He can catch the ball. He can do pass. He can do everything that you need him to do because he's done it before for us. Well, he's going to be more of on the blocking side, but that would be almost an advantage for him because they're going to think he's going to go out the block. He's going to cut in for a slant, whatever he's doing off the block, and then catch a touchdown or something that we're about 15, 20 yards out. I see that happening, and I'm just going that route because it was like plus 1900 or something like that. Then I have Josh Allen over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I see this being a very good outing for Allen, and I think every Bills fan should. We're still favored by 9.5, which is crazy. I think it's because Baker might not play. I think that's kind of what's really going that pulling that up that way, especially with Chris Godwin maybe not playing too. So definitely something to watch if that line even goes up more. I just didn't want to touch that because the game last week. I don't know. I don't have to explain it to anyone, to any Bills fans. Um, then I have Kate Oaten over 25.5 receiving yards. I just think he's only been getting around 13 to 15. I just see him getting this for some reason. Um, I think the middle's gonna be a little bit open if with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans on the outside. I think he's just gonna slowly collect the yardage. He's not gonna go off, but he's gonna get probably around 30 to 40. If if we're locking down the other side, I'm good with giving him 30, 40 in the middle. Uh, then I got James Cook for over 17.5 receiving yards. He's been balling out in receiving yards. He's been getting around 40 to 60. And I think this is a game where he gets at least 20 easy. That should be almost done in the first half. And then I got over 26.5 points for the Bills total. I think we're getting towards that 30 mark, probably 30, like 34, 37-ish this game. I think this is a game we have to bounce back, and that's what I'm just going for at this point. Um, that will turn $1 into $131. Pretty good odds. Nice little 5-leg parlay. The Reggie Gilliam thing is going to be hard, but that's what makes it fun. Just to be in a little bit out there. Then we're coming up on one of my favorite segments. Still, I'll say it every single time. Bills lose if. And for me, this is big because it's almost going to be pretty similar to what I've said last week, but with some little bit of difference in here. The Bills are going to lose if the offense still can't find that rhythm. But you can't wait till the third quarter to score, especially with this many playmakers on this team. If everyone's there and healthy, you can't do that. And then on top of that, we have to stop the penalties that are hurting us so much by extending their drives. The defense makes a big play. One of the defense players makes a huge play, like a sack, pass breakup on the other side, and then for some reason, there's always someone on the other side doing a hold, doing this, doing that, just dragging their things out, making them have a 12, 13 play like score instead of a 5, 6 yard punt, a 5, 6 play punt. It's been very frustrating with that for me. And then also the cornerback and defensive back play has to improve more on the cornerbacks. Bedford definitely was having some issues, had a penalty and stuff like that. But so did Dane Jackson, does not beat in certain areas. So they just got to clean it up a little bit. And I think they can because they're going to have a decent challenge this week. If they don't play well and play just like they played right like they did last week against Kendrick Bourne and Devontae Parker, it's going to be a long game for the Bills. Last but not least, I got my score prediction. I'm going to have the Bills 34 to. I'll give it a clean 20. Like I said, they're going to get some field goals and stuff like that. I'm not going to say they're not, but I'm going to get a clean 20 23, but we're scoring 37, so it's not going to matter. Some of those scores are going to be in points are going to be in garbage time. Like if we start off hot like we should, like we did the first couple weeks of the season, that's what I'm looking for this game. That's what I'm predicting. Doesn't happen, but I am more of a glass half full type of guy. So I do have some upcoming videos. It's going to be a weekly thing now. Every single Friday, it's going to be college football, uh, week, whatever. It's gonna be now this week's gonna be college football week 9 preview. Going through all the games, well, going through the top 5 games with my boy Andrew Banis. He has all the knowledge you need to know about college football. That's his jam. That's what he focuses on all the time. So he's gonna give us all the lines you should follow. I mean, we did pretty good on the bets last time. It just unfortunately Penn State kind of leaned out towards the end and just couldn't keep up. But that damn last field goal burned it. But it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a good video with him again. Friday night, I might make it live, but I'm gonna keep probably doing recordings because I'm not sure. I don't get as many people who watch it live, so I usually get better views when I just post it the next day. So, but yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Go Bills, and I'm out.